Back on the Chamber Report, time now for member profiles, a chance for you to find out who some of the many members are, and also maybe somebody who isn't, but somebody that the Chamber has connected with. And that is who our next guest is. His name is Wade Schenek. He is with Minnesota Retain, and he reached out to me and along with a lot of Chamber presidents around the state, and I'm guessing hopefully a bunch of them has responded like I did. He's involved with a unique program that you're going to hear about in just a second, but the process occurred when Wade connected with us and said, hey, we've got this program called Retain, wondering if you guys might be interested in partnering as we can work with employers and employees, and especially when it comes to the job market. Are you aware of the job market? I bet you all are. So he got me the information I needed. I brought it to the board. The board said, well, absolutely we should. And so we are now partnering with Minnesota Retain to help get this word out not only to you, but also through our Chamber members. So Wade, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Pete. I'm glad to be here.
Hey, thank you, number one, for reaching out. Number two, for this program. It's wonderful. They're all wondering, what is Retain? So why don't you tell them what it is?
So Minnesota Retain is a new grant program that is 100% federally funded from the Department of Labor and the Social Security Administration. So what the grant does, it's really focused on supporting individuals who are at work, who are out of work due to injury or illness, or trying to recover from an injury or illness while they're trying to still work. The program really focuses on offering supports and return to work accommodations and restrictions, recommendations through our primary healthcare subgrantee at Mayo Clinic to really make sure that those individuals are working, keeping them on the job longer, getting them back to work faster.
You know what? To me, that's a win-win. That's a win for the employee, but it's a win for the employer. If that person is hurt and is not working, they've got the job that still needs to be done. And that's why the Chamber had interest in this. This is about keeping jobs rolling, keeping employers who are looking for workers with workers. So that was kind of an easy thing for us. So Wade, tell us, how does Retain work?
So Minnesota Retain is a voluntary program. Obviously, somebody does have to self-refer, but once they do self-refer, they get to work with a return-to-work case manager through Mayo and their employer. And it's kind of a three-legged stool, right? So you have the employee, the employer, and the healthcare worker. What they're doing is really offering clinical return-to-work accommodations, recommendations, job restriction recommendations, and really being an integrated part of that individual's return-to-work plan so that they have the correct accommodations and restrictions, recommendations in place to get them back to work faster or keep them on the job longer.
So how does this benefit the employers?
So there's multiple benefits to the employers, but the number one thing when you talk about labor shortages, you talk about low unemployment rate, you talk about the tight market, is talent. Yeah. So you're really focusing on keeping talent. It is meant to retain. So it is the retaining employment and talent after injury or illness network. That's why it's called Retain. Mm-hmm. So it is really focused on keeping employees employed. Every individual who gets hurt, every individual who is out of work for a period of time, mm-hmm. that costs money, yeah. right? So you have lost productivity. If that individual does not return, you have turnover costs. You have a lot of indirect costs associated with individuals not getting back to work faster. The cost alone of recruiting, onboarding, getting somebody new trained in, it's astronomical. So why not focus on keeping that talent employed by focusing on what they're dealing with and supporting them through that process? That's the biggest win for employees, is keeping the talent they have and learning new ways to support their talent so that they stay employed.
Wade, that's what got me right out of the chute. That's what got the board of directors right out of the chute, because this is about the pain that it is to try to find somebody. I mean, and that's going on right now just because of job openings. But if you've got somebody who knows the job and is doing a good job with the job, but they've been injured and can't get back maybe as fast as somebody both are probably hoping, this is a way to make all of that stuff work. All right, so I asked the question, how does Retain help and benefit the employer? How does it benefit the employee?
That's a really good question, too, because the employee is a pivotal piece of the employment, right? Of a business. Having without workers, you don't have a business. So what it does is anytime somebody gets ill or injured, that's a really scary process. They don't really know what's going on. They don't know how to navigate that process. The return to work case managers with Minnesota Retain will really help them know where they're at, learn where they're at, figure out how to move forward, how to best support them on the job, or how to best support them when they get back to the job so they can be back and most efficient, most effective, and get back to doing their job as fast as medically possible.
You bet. Now, Chamber members that are watching know that you're going to start to see some pieces that Wade will be focused to us, which I will then get out through emails to you, through our chamber news, that are basically the outlets that we have to get the word out to members. You will be getting that information. But Wade, if somebody wants to get information now, whether it's an employer or an employee, how do they get a hold of somebody at Minnesota Retain?
So they can reach out to me directly at wade.schenk@state.mn.us, or they could call me directly at 651-259-7671. They could reach out to our website at mnretain.com, do a self-referral. But getting a hold of me will probably be the fastest to be able to learn a little bit about your business, your unique needs, where your struggles are, and how to best support your employees.
He's Wade Schenek. He is with Minnesota Retain. Hey, chamber members, if you're in a situation where Minnesota Retain can help you, reach out to Wade. And if you forgot to grab the pen to write that number down, just get a hold of me, and I've got Wade's information too as well. Hey, Wade, thank you so much for, one, reaching out to us, two, being a part of what you're doing. And as this moves forward, can we get you back here and kind of get an update on how things are going?
Give me back anytime. Just let me know.
That's
Thanks,
great.
Pete.
You bet. All right, he is Wade Schenek, Minnesota Retain. We're taking a break. When we come back, we will continue with more profiles right here on the Chamber Report.